Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below, it really helps.
You know that feeling, that little pit in your stomach when the check engine light pops on? Yep. Well, today we're going to be detectives. We're going to solve a very specific automotive mystery. Dodge code P1618. I mean, we've all been there, right? You see that little glowing engine on the dash and your heart just sinks a little. You're left wondering, okay, what is my car trying to tell me now?
Well, if you hook up a scan tool and it spits out code P1618, it's not just a problem, it's more like a puzzle. And you're in luck, because in this explainer, we're handing you all the clues you need to crack the case.
All right, first things first, let's unmask this warning. What in the world is the P1618 code anyway?
So the official by-the-book definition is sensor reference voltage 1 erratic. Okay, I know, that sounds super technical and maybe a little intimidating. But don't you worry, we're going to break down exactly what that means in plain English. Basically, it just means your car's main computer has spotted an unstable signal in a really important electrical circuit. Something's off, and the computer is raising a red flag. Now, to really get a handle on this code, we've got to understand the system at the heart of this whole mystery, and that's your car's electrical brain.
We're talking about the Power Control Module, or PCM for short. This thing is the master computer. It's juggling a million things at once. We're talking everything from your fuel mixture to when the spark plugs fire.
Honestly, the easiest way to picture it is to think of the PCM as the brain of your car. It's the decision maker. And just like our brains, it can't make good decisions without information. It gets that info from its nervous system, which is all the different sensors scattered around your engine.
So how does this brain talk to its nervous system? Well, it uses a very specific electrical signal. And that signal is a nice, steady 5 volts. It's a really common, low, stable voltage in the car world. And it's absolutely perfect for powering up all those sensitive sensors. You can think of this 5-volt supply as the lifeblood of the whole system. The PCM sends it out to the sensors, and the sensors use that power to send back critical data. We're talking engine speed, oil pressure, you name it. If that 5-volt signal gets messed up, the brain is basically flying blind.
And this is where we get to the heart of the problem. See, the PCM is pretty smart. It's got a self-preservation instinct. If it senses a dangerous short circuit, whether that's in the wiring itself or inside a sensor, it hits the emergency stop button. It cuts off that 5-volt supply to protect itself from damage. And that's the moment the P1618 code gets triggered.
Okay, so we know the circuit is down. The big question now is, who done it? Who or what is the culprit? It is time to light up our suspects.
All right, here they are, our 8 main suspects. Let's go through the list. First, you've got problems with the wiring itself. This could be a short to ground. That's when a power wire is touching the metal body of the car. Or it could be an open circuit, which is just a fancy way of saying a wire is broken or unplugged. Then you've got the parts themselves. A bunch of different sensors could be a bad guy here, like the crankshaft position sensor or the engine oil pressure sensor. And, you know, in some rare cases, the brain itself, the PCM, could be the one at fault.
To make our investigation a little easier, let's group these suspects into 2 main categories. On one hand, you've got circuit faults. These are all about the wiring, the connections between everything. And on the other hand, you have component faults. This is when an actual part, like a sensor or even the PCM, has just given up the ghost.
Okay, we've got our suspect list. So how do we actually figure out which one it is? How do we find the real culprit without just, throwing expensive parts at the car and hoping for the best? The secret here is a simple, methodical 3-step approach. Step 1, look at all the wiring. Check for any obvious damage. Step 2, test the individual sensors that are on that circuit. And step 3, and this is a last resort, is when you finally start looking at the PCM itself.
And this is so important, you guys. You have to start with the simplest, cheapest thing first. That means the wiring. Just giving the wiring harness a good look over for any frayed wires, any places it's been rubbing, or any corrosion. That can honestly solve the mystery right then and there. It can save you a ton of time and, more importantly, a ton of money.
So, if you follow that logical process, that brings us right to our final verdict. Here's how you can officially close the case on code P1618. Look, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this.
Fixing this code is not about guesswork. It's not about just swapping out parts until the light goes off. It's about being a detective, doing a systematic investigation, and ruling out suspects one by one until you find the real root of the problem.
And this right here really sums up the whole challenge, doesn't it? The problem could be literally anywhere in that chain, from a simple wire all the way up to the PCM. And that is exactly why a proper step-by-step diagnosis is so important. So, by understanding how the system works, lining up all your potential suspects, and following a logical process, you're not just some person staring at a check engine light anymore. You're the detective. So, I have to ask, are you ready to solve the case?